We are now broadcasting on YouTube.
Take them off.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to one of the regular board meetings of the Kissimmee Utility Authority, known as KUA, for October 7th, 2020. Please join me in honoring our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now call on our attorney to remind us of the latest rulings regarding these meetings.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Yes, on September 30th, Governor DeSantis issued Executive Order number 20-246. What that order did is it extended his Executive Order 20-69, which waived the requirement for local government bodies to have a physical forum present to conduct business. The governor's office was kind enough to issue a memorandum with this order. And then memorandum, they said this is the last waiver, that he was giving local governments basically a month to get ready before November 1st to go back to normal procedure where a physical forum is required. So this would be the last time that the waiver is applicable.
Perfect, thank you. And now to our IT director for logistics and instructions and the procedure for people that are online.
Thank you. For participants in today's meeting, please use the raise hand feature in the participant panel on Zoom. For those of us joining remotely, if you need to get the attention and so that we're not talking on top of each other. Also, just raising your actual hand just to draw attention to the fact that you're trying to interject is also helpful so that, again, we preserve the dialogue of each person who wants to be heard. To reduce background noise, please mute your audio or your phone or your device unless you need to be heard. This helps everyone overall. For members of the public who are watching from YouTube or KUA.com, please use the contact form on the website to send in your questions for the board. You can find the form for any video on the meeting minutes page for today's meeting on KUA.com. There were no messages for the board as of 2:30's cutoff for this afternoon. If you're presenting remotely, I will advance your slides when prompted and move them forward for you or pull up your slides for you at the appropriate time on the agenda. If you experience any audio or visual difficulty during the meeting, please close and reestablish your connection. We will automatically connect you back into the room. This was the fastest way to clear up any issues you may have. And again, we've got some cameras that we're using. It's a new feature. We're having some internet issues with those. So if they drop out, we'll do our best to get them reconnected. But everyone is still audible, which is the requirement set by law. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the chair.
Thank you, Chair. Okay, item C, approval of agenda.
I move approval. Second.
Everyone in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposing it? Signify by saying no. Agenda approved. Now we moved into the installation of the new board member. I call on the general manager, Brian Horton, to do the honors.
Yes. Yes, Madam Chair, Mr. Santos, would you please join me, Margie? Joyce, would you please, and your family, please come into the line?
I, Raymond Sanchez, do solemnly swear that I will support, protect, and defend
Kissimmee Utility Authority
the Charter and bylaws of the Kissimmee Utility Authority
against all enemies, domestic and foreign,
against all enemies, domestic and foreign,
and that I will bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same,
and that I will bear true faith, loyalty, and allegiance to the same,
that I am entitled to hold office under the Charter,
that I am entitled to hold office to the Charter,
and that I will faithfully perform all the duties of the Office of Director of the Kissimmee Utility Authority,
and that I will faithfully hold all the offices of Director of the Kissimmee Utility Authority,
on which I am about to enter.
of which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Raymond. Now you can join us as a new member. No longer the rookie. Yeah, no. Now we go into item E, election of officers for the 2020 to 2021 term period. Can I get a nomination for the board chair?
Make a motion to appoint Director Ethelbina as our chair.
I'll second it.
Any discussion for the nomination?
She's a good girl. I like her.
Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Nomination is approved. Thank you very much. Now we're going to get a nomination for the board vice chair.
I nominate Manny.
Do I have a second? I guess I have a second from, any discussions on the nomination? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor signify by saying
Aye.
Aye.
all opposed? No. Nomination is approved. Now we're going to have nomination for the secretary of the board. Can I have a nomination?
Ray.
Second.
Do I? Any discussion? Hearing none, let's vote. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? No. Nomination is approved. Now we vote for nominations for board assistant secretary.
Make a motion for it to be.
Any seconds?
Second.
Do I have any discussions? None, so let's vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nomination approved. Congratulations, Jean. And now our latest member, Raymond, will be our board director.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank everyone for your nominations and your votes. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you and congratulations to the rest of us. Now we go into awards and presentations, and I call on the general manager to guide us.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have got, first of all, congratulations on your board appointments and officer appointments. We've got 5 service awards this evening or afternoon, and I think we've got one of them. Marcelo wasn't able to make it. Okay, well, we'll start with Chad Nichols, who was an instrument control and electrical technician in our operations department. We're recognizing Chad for 5 years of service. Thank you, Chad. Next, we've got Yadi Escobar, who is a business technology administrator in our information technology department. We're recognizing Yadi for 10 years of service to KUA. Thank you, Yadi. Next, we've got Wanda de Valle. She's a customer service representative 2 in our customer service department. We're recognizing her for 15 years of service to KUA. Thank you, Wanda. Next, we've got Marcelo Mcdonald, who is a lead lineman in our operations department. We're recognizing Marcelo for 25 years of service to KUA. Thank you, Marcelo. Next, we've got Luis Santiago, who is a line crew supervisor, also in our operations department. And we're also recognizing him for 25 years of service to KUA. Thank you, Luis.
Great.
And finally, we've got our Employee of the Month for October 2020, Mr. Jeffrey Thompson, who's an instrument controls and electrical technician in our operations department. His supervisor had this to say about him. Jeff has gone above and beyond to ensure our power plant's reliability. The Cane Island demineralized water system failed last month. During the troubleshooting efforts, Jeff stood out as a system expert and was instrumental in the determination of the failed component and a quick return to service for that particular unit. Jeff's expertise also prevented Cane Island Unit number 3 from tripping offline. A faulty relay caused the boiler feeder pump to trip, and with very little time to spare, Jeff made it possible to restart the feed pump, allowing the unit to remain online. Those are just a few examples of Jeff's skills and commitment to KUA's success. So please join me in thanking our Employee of the Month, Mr. Jeffrey Thompson.
Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve last month's agenda? Items 1 and 2. You move. So do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. All opposed? Motion approved. Now we'll listen to information presentations from the staff. Brian?
Okay. We've got Susan Poston, our Vice President of Customer Service, serves on the Boys and Girls Club of Osceola County. And as you know, Boys and Girls Club of Osceola County is a recipient of KUA community support dollars, and they're here to show their appreciation for this board. And I'm gonna let Susan introduce the speaker.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. As you all know, I've been a very active member of the Boys and Girls Club Board for about 10 years now. So it is near and dear to my heart. And today we have 2 speakers. The first one is Alicia Hodge. She is the Development Director, which assists in raising the funds needed to keep those blue doors open for the children in Osceola County. And the second one is Nico Palmero, and he is the Service Director for the Tupperware Brands Branch, which is the club that is right on Dyer Boulevard here in Kissimmee. So the 2 of them are going to speak with you, and we're going to kick it off with Alicia first. So take it away, Alicia.
Thank you, Susan. We absolutely love Susan. As Susan says, I work in the community, and I can tell you without a doubt, KUA's level of involvement is unprecedented. We're grateful to have this company active in both the funding end and the operations end. I'm the funding end, Nico's operation end. So that's why we're both here to thank KUA. Obviously, we can't do what we do without financial support. But the program side, the volunteerism, all the things you do within the club is equally as critical. Your hands-on approach with our club members is one of the reasons KUA is absolutely one of our most valued partners. So with that, actually, thank you doesn't seem like enough, but that's one of the things we definitely wanted to do today. And I'm going to kick it off to Nico, who works daily with the kids, who can really firsthand tell you how impactful KUA's involvement is. Nico.
Thanks, Alicia. Good afternoon. It is an honor to be able to speak to all of you and give thanks for the tremendous amount of philanthropic services KUA gives, not only to our organization, but to our community. It's rare to find an organization that cares about its people the way KUA does. You truly light up our community with compassion and hope, I'd like to show you a video actually if that some of our members created first before I get started. So if I could cue the video, please.
Thank you, KUA. Thank you, KUA. Thank you, KUA. Thank you, KUA. Gracias, KUA. Thank you, KUA.
Thank you, KUA.
Thank you, KUA. Thank you, KUA. Gracias, KUA. Thank you, KUA.
Thank you, KUA.
Thank you, KUA. Gracias, KUA. Thank you, KUA. Thank you, KUA. Gracias and thank you, KUA. Gracias, KUA. Thank you, KUA. Thank you,
Oh, I finished. Okay, good. Yeah, very adorable, very adorable. Kids are very happy to do that kind of stuff all the time. So, but you know, the staff and over 10,000 members who came through the blue doors of our BVL and Tupperware Brands Boys and Girls Club, we can be thankful for so much for the almost 2 decades we've been affiliated with each other. From the over $100,000, the numerous sponsorships for Celebrate the Children, SWAT, Faces of the Future, Wish Tag and Run Disney events, corporate projects, in-kind donations, electronics for our auctions and club members, our huge U.S. flag in the gym, the big grill, of course, and career days. I can go on, but all of these things culminate into one major thing, giving the children of this community the best chance to realize their full potential as productive, responsible, and caring citizens. At our 36 clubs in 6 counties, we serve the children who need us most. Our clubs are located in neighborhoods that on average rank at the 12th percentile for household income and the 71st percentile for incarceration rates. Our club families pay either nothing or a nominal fee for their children to attend. By providing our club members with academic support, extracurricular opportunities, and positive adult role models, we aim to break the cycle of poverty for future generations of Central Floridians. Using our Formula for Impact model, which takes the kids who need us most, and introducing them to an outcome-driven club experience, this will give them the tool to demonstrate academic success, character and leadership, and healthy lifestyles. I'm proud to say, with your help, in the last 2 years, our organization has produced a 100% graduation rate for our seniors, with 80% actually going to secondary education or the military. But last but not least, how could I go on without giving thanks to Miss Susan Postins, a warrior on the front lines for our organization. We're so privileged to have Susan on our board. She brings wisdom, hard work ethic, and determination to give every child the opportunity to receive love and care. She truly has been an inspiration, not only to me, but all who she comes in contact with. But I want to thank all of you for your continued support, and I look forward to all the great things we can accomplish in the future. So thank you, and that's all for me. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any questions, anyone? Thank you very much, Susan. Public hearing, we have none. All business.
Yes, Madam Chair. Over the past several months, you all have heard about the Horde Substation Expansion project that's going on to increase capacity in the northern portion of our service territory. Staff has completed the competitive solicitation for the construction services associated with that project to install the third distribution bank at that substation. And we've got a recommendation for the board for the award of that contract. And to tell us a little bit more about this, this is usually a Larry item, but today his Assistant Vice President, T.R. Lynn, is going to come and tell us about this project.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and directors. As Brian said, my name's Thomas Lind. I go by TR, and I'm Assistant VP of Engineering and Operations. I'm going to present the agenda item for award of the construction services for Horde Substation Third Transformer Addition. Whoops, got to go back. There we go. This project was developed in the 2016-2017 time period We do an annual report that looks something like this. That's a 5-year study. And in that time frame, we indicated that in 2021, we would be exceeding the normal capacity of Horde Substation. If you look on the right-hand side of the graphic that's shown there, that's the location of the Horde Substation, which is really just right outside this building to the east. It's a critical substation in that it supplies this central area, which you can see in beige, all the way from the loop down to ORMC and Advent Health as one of the feeds to those. So it's critical to the community as well. If you look at the 3 developments that were shown there in Sunrise City and Story Lakes and Tapestry, you can see that represents 32 megawatts roughly of new load over the next 5 years. So our normal capacity for this substation for one failure is 49.3 MVA, about 50 megawatts. We actually reached that and exceeded it by about 2 megawatts this past summer. So the need for this expansion is there. Another driver for this is the more than 12,300 meters that are serviced from this one substation, or about 15% of the total number of systems or meters that KUA has. Also, 4 of the 6 feeders have more than 1,800 meters on them. So, and one of them more than 3,000 meters. So when we have a single feeder outage, the feeder being one of the electric lines that goes down your neighborhood at 13,200 volts, 3,000 meters will go out for that one feeder. So we're trying to add additional feeders so that we can split up that number and affect fewer number of customers. Over the past 6 months, there's been a number of consent agenda items, 2 69,000 volt circuit breakers, a 3rd power transformer, about $750,000, switchgear, 15 kV switchgear and capacitor bank, about $1.2 million. And that's what houses the 4 new feeders that we'll be installing. Also the 69 kV structures and equipment that connects up the 3 items that we just mentioned. And also a separate project, about $1.8 million for 4 new underground feeders that will leave Horde Substation and connect to the existing feeders. Because of the critical nature of these buildings and the Davis Operations Center warehouse on this campus, we're also dedicating 1 feeder just to feed this campus out of the expansion. This will have an in-service date of the summer of 2021. We're shooting for June 1st. So just a brief overview. This is what the existing substation looks like in schematic format. So just a quick, this is called a 69 kV ring bus or 69,000 volt ring bus. Not a very creative name, but it's the circle in the middle. And the squares represent 69 kV breakers. There are 2 transmission lines, one in the upper right-hand corner and one in the lower left-hand corner, as well as the 2 distribution transformers that feed the existing 6 feeders. The expansion will add the 69 kV breaker that you see in red, as well as the transformer and the 4 additional feeders. A request for a proposal was solicited. The budget for this construction project was $1.1 million. We received 5 bids. 1 was declared non-responsive because it didn't provide the specified services. But we did evaluate 4. And as you can see, the Canyon Power Solutions LLC was low bid by a significant amount below our budget. We did speak with a number of their references and got, good feedback on all of them, as well as reviewed the scope with them, and they indicated that they had it all covered. So we feel comfortable moving forward. Okay. There we go. So the recommendation is to approve Canyon Power Solutions LLC to perform the necessary construction services for Horde Substation Third Transformer Addition for the amount of $433,980. Any questions?
Any questions? No?
Well, I have,
Sure.
why the disparity?
Why
There was like $2 million.
In the price?
Yeah, in the price.
in the price?
Yeah.
Well, if you look at I don't know if I can back up here. If you look at the other bidders, you can see that if you averaged all those together, you'd probably come someplace around our $1.1 million estimate. This particular contractor has crews in Florida that's finishing up a big job at JEA in Jacksonville. And they just want to keep their crews working. And so they sharpened their pencils and, they gave us a fantastic price.
Madam Chair, if I may.
It seems, yes.
I've seen a lot of contractors come in on lower bids. And then when we're in the middle of a project, we start seeing extra work orders coming in. Have we had conversations with them in reference to that? I've seen it happen before. Are we getting into that, or have we make sure that we're not going to see that?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been very clear with them in our discussions with them. We went over item by item what their scope of supply was, what their scope of work was. And, they provided feedback and evidence of, their costs. So, we had the same concern, obviously. I've had it go both ways in the past, honestly. We've gone back to contractors, we get a low price and they go, oh, nuts. I forgot this, I forgot that. And, they'll withdraw their bid. And we've had it go this way as well, where, it's a fantastic price and they live up to it. So, we feel pretty comfortable that they'll live up to it.
Madam Chair, if I may, I think that, first of all, I think staff did a wonderful job vetting this new company that is doing work for the largest municipal utility in the state of Florida, one of the largest in the country. I think that the work that they've done for them is to the tune of $7-8 million. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, about $7 million in work they've done for JEA over the last 2 to 3 years. And JEA has given them, very good marks. They didn't have a negative word to say about the work that they've done.
So I think the bottom line here is with that recommendation from one of our larger sister utilities, coupled with the fact that we can save our ratepayers significant dollars, bodes very well for the recommendation.
Yeah, we did talk to folks in Texas and North Dakota and Pennsylvania, where, they've done work all over the United States. But, again, they do have their crew sitting right here. Timing was good. I think just all of the things, fell in place for them to move over here and continue using their same Florida crew.
Yeah, and the only reason I question that is just for us to be very careful with that, because once they're in that project, there's no leaving it. Now we have to continue it. And
Right.
I don't doubt that they're a great company. It's great for our pay raisers that we're going to save money. But it's that red flag that always pops in.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I agree 100%. Yeah, and we feel that we've vetted it, as far as we can, and they've backed it up, said they'll back up that number in writing. So,
Good.
and they have.
Yeah. Yes, Judy.
Yes, very good presentation. You did a very good job.
Thanks.
Very, very wise to let you do it. Great job. And I move that we approve the award. As
Do
presented.
I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
RFP 320-033 is hereby approved. Motion approved. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, TR, very much.
Thank you.
New business?
Yes,
Brian?
Madam Chair, we've got one item under new business this afternoon. As y'all know, we've got several employees here at KUA who serve as military reservists. And every so often they get called to active duty. Now KUA has historically elected to supplement their military pay to make up for any lost wages beyond the statutory requirements for the duration of their call to duty. And we have a recent employee who has been called to active duty, and here to tell us a little bit more about that is Cindy Herrera, Vice President of Human Resources.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see everybody here today. Miss seeing everybody, and congratulations and welcome. Thank you. As Brian mentioned, I am here today to discuss KUA employees who are military reservists and called to active duty. We did have an employee recently called, and he has just recently in September headed off. So he is overseas as we speak at the moment. And per our Florida statute, which employing authority may supplement the military pay of its officials and employees who are reservists called to active military service after the first 30 days in the amount necessary to bring their total salary, inclusive of their base pay, to the level earned at the time that they were called to active military duty. So in the past, actually, in 2001 and 2003, the KUA board elected to provide supplemental pay in an effort to alleviate any potential financial hardship for employees while in active military service. So during those time, if you recall back in 2001, 9/11, and then in 2003, goodness, I'm going to say Desert Storm, but we had wars that was at that time that we had an employee. Thank you, Grant. Sorry. We did have an employee that was called out during that time. So here we are, and I'm here today in my recommendation asking the board to authorize supplemental pay for employees who are military reservists and called to active duty within the last 30 days for the duration of the required service. This authorization would be effective for 12 months from today's date.
Any questions?
Any questions? Yes, sir. Yes.
Questions and probably more comments, because I was affected by a policy like this for over 30 years in the military, so I completely understand what you're trying to do. And it's great that the supplement to make the person whole while he's away.
Yes.
Sacrifice it. But my concern, and I'm quite sure you're probably doing it, but he's the individual that's called up, the spouse, the male, female. They are sacrificing, but the one that really sacrificed is the family that stays back home. Although somebody that spouse that's back home has double duties, when that individual is there,
no
duties are divided in homes. That's not there. That support is not there. So to me, we have to have something on either writing or policy to HR that we appoint an ombudsman, or we appoint. Name it what you want to name it, that they would keep in touch with the family to make sure that their needs are being met. Because when the individual goes away, he has one mission to complete. The individual that stayed home, their mission is multiple. So we got to make sure as a company that we're looking after the family. So they should have a point of contact. We should be contacting them with whatever need they might have, that we should be able to provide that for the family.
Yes.
And I'm saying that we maybe should have something on paper, because I remember one time in one particular organization, they were saying, well, I thought you didn't call, I thought you called, and so forth. And no one was getting back to a particular family. So if it's written and someone's assigned to that particular duties, and then you know it's gonna be done. Like I said, just to support the family that's the idea.
Okay, definitely, staff will work to ensure that is done. And speaking with Mr. Krugel, upon him leaving, and actually as he's been deployed, I would be in contact with him by email and talking to him. He said, well, actually where I'll be, there's Wi-Fi, so I can actually communicate. So I was like, okay, that's great. His situation was that way. He did leave behind, and hopefully it's official, but I know he had a fiance, so I know he has someone. He does not have any children, but he does have his parents here. But that's something easily to be in communication with, understanding that's a wonderful point to ensure. And thank you for bringing that forward. And staff will definitely will work with and communicate. I'll be letting him know based off of the decision of the board and where we are. But he was very thankful just with the fact that we would be bringing this forth.
With that, I make a motion.
Can I have a motion? So do I have a second?
I have a second, but I do have something to say.
Okay.
This brings around what the mayor has said. We need to support extra our employees because they are so good for us. And this is one way we can give a little bit extra to our employees. And they're our backbone, and we need to support them and their families. So I second it.
Okay. Anyone in favor to recommend this, or approve this recommendation?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Recommendation approved.
Thank you so much.
Staff reports. Brian.
Yes, Madam Chair, we have one staff report this evening, and it's Larry Matter's operations semi-annual report. Going to talk about what's been going on in operations the last 6 months.
Well, good evening, everyone. It's good to see you all here. Those who haven't been here for a while, it's good to see everyone here. And thank you so much for supporting the military. That I appreciate it too, having military in my family. Operations, we're a year and a half old now as one department, but we've been operating here for 30 some years separately. Okay, in operations, you know the things we do, and I'll get to that right here at KUA, but we also have other obligations, one to FGU, and I've always reported what's going on there. It's Florida Gas Utilities, and the CEO there is Tom Jeffries. And what's interesting and what's good at FGU's done for us and has kept our rates down is they've got these prepaid gas programs, and they've brought those to FMPA so we can get our fuel at a discount, and they've got the discount at 34 cents a decatherm. A decatherm is the same, like we also buy them MMBTUs, 1,000 cubic feet. They're all about the same measurement, just called different, and they cost between $2 or $3 right now. They can go up. If it goes to $10, we still get our 34-cent discount. So it's the gift that gives the whole time. So that was something very interesting and very good they brought, and it's contributing to the low rates we're getting. Now FMPA, being the beneficiary of the inexpensive gas and having efficient machines that run, and we can thank some of our staff for that, we were able to get the reduction of our megawatt hours down $5 lower than they were last year. And what that means to us in a year's time, it's going to save us $7.5 million in a year. And since I pay your electric bill, that's about 1 month on average. Our bills here go anywhere from very mild month would be maybe $4 to $5 million. And last year, our high month was $11 million for the month for your bulk power. The highest one we've seen, it's been around 8 or 9. And so on average, it's about 1 month free, because not only the low cost fuel and keeping the units running so they're available to be there, they've also done some financial moves too on payoffs and refinances. So they've done some very good things. So we're getting good work out of FMPA. The power pool, we're a member of the pool through FMPA, and it's the power pool's FMPA, it's Lakeland Electric, and then it's OUC. And the executive decisions are made by Clint Bullock from OUC and Joel Ivey from Lakeland and Jacob for us at FMPA. the day-to-day operation was done overseeing all of us utilities. As you know, what the pool is, to remind you again, it's all of us pulling together, and we start our most inexpensive unit and run it first, and then the next. And by the three of us getting together, the three utilities getting together, we can bring in the lowest megawatt. We can keep our rates down. Well, somebody oversees that, and sometimes we sell in and out and into each other in the pool. So the pool has a director, and it was Tom Reedy. He worked for years at FMPA, and then took the job as director for the last 2 to 3 years. And he's moving on. He's going to retire. So they've hired a new pool director, and his name is Aaron Casto. And he has about 20 years experience and a similar, like a joint action type thing, but this is with transmission, and it's MISO. It's, if you want to hear the terms, the Mid-Continent Independent System of Operations. What it does, you're glad I told you, but what it does is in the Midwest, they get bulk power through transmission to where it's needed to the different cities out there. So he has experience of this type of an operation. So we look for good things from him in helping us move forward with the power pool. And then there's operations department, a lot of good things going on. Every division's hitting on all cylinders. They're getting things done. They're helping Susan get meters in. They're keeping availability and reliability up somewhat. We'll talk about that in a minute. Go back to so where's our power come from? Well, we have the FMPA units and our requirements, and this list down there, that's what we own at FMPA, and we're the largest member of our requirements. So this is your stack, and you see at the top, there's the 2 Stanton coal units, and then you see down at the bottom is our solar thing. It's up online. And where it says capacity, that's how often it's online. Now, we have a little question on why the coal's staying on as much as some of our gas, because the gas is much cheaper. And that's the things we'll work out in the power pool. It's good news that we're getting close to the 30% that wasn't guaranteed, but was promised we could be close to 30% on the solar. And the solar just started too. So early on it was testing. It may see the 30%. And this is the generation mix of what was supplied by. As you can see, it's that's why the 34 cents from Tom Jeffries from FGU has such an impact. 80% of our power is powered by natural gas. And then you see coal comes in second. The only thing there you wouldn't understand, the purchases, the renewables is our solar, but we have purchases. That means purchases if we're purchasing back and forth through the power pool, if we have a unit on outage, or if it's just a very hot day and we've sold everything and the purchase actually could be cheaper than we make it. So that's where you'll see the purchase, and it's very small. Actually, we have more power than what we need, but very slightly now. One of the things FMPA has done is sold our excess power outside of the pool, and that's helped bring our rates down. And as I said, cheap gas doesn't do you well if you don't have machines that run. Okay, this is your Cane Island machines. And you see the gray is last year's number, and the blue is this year. And the red line is what the national average on. It's around 85% of availability. That means the machine's on, it's ready to run. Whether you take it to the top or not, it's there for you. Cane Island, as you see, beats the national average and does pretty often. As you see this year, you say, well, how come you're not doing so good this year? We also include outages in here that are planned. In fact, you're going to see next year, we'll be just above that average if we run well, because we're going to have a major outage on Unit 3. And so it'll be off for weeks, but that counts. We count all of it here. Unit 3 is down a little now because we did have an outage, as I showed you in our last one, where we had a transformer. We had the explosion on top of it. The good thing about the outage was the folks showed how quick that we could get the unit back online. It was hot weather, and we had it back in 2 or 3 days. It also showed that this department together, we probably had 5 divisions of different divisions, everything from the line crew to the guys testing from Substation to SCADA, and then of course the guys at Cane Island themselves, all pulled in together and used different tools and different skills and had that back together. So it was we were out for a few days, but it was a big success for the department, showing how they could work together. Substation maintenance was there too. I don't want to miss them. They were key. And he's their boss too on that. All right, here comes the numbers. So this is the SATing. That's the minutes. That's how long you're off. So we're off, how long you're off, and this is it. Okay, the line up at the top, our goal was to be 5% below with the major folks are in FMPA. And we're getting better as this is a rolling average. Now we got hit a little bit in May and June. But what was keeping us up before, you got all in the middle, they're up because a year ago, we had a very We got hit really bad in July and in August with those lightning storms, and we got hit. So until you roll those off, and we're rolling those off, plus we're doing other things. We know there's lightning here. We say, well, okay, big deal. What are you going to do about it? There's plenty we can do about it. We've got lightning arresters, and they're on the poles. And when the lightning arrestor gets hit, unless it gets blown clear off the pole, like we've seen in some of these instances, it does its job, and you don't know anything about it. Good, lightning arrestor did its job. We're still online. It went down the ground. So then when you drive by and try to look at what the lightning arrestor looks like after it's hit, same as it did before. Is it going to fail next time? Could. It can only take so many hits, but we don't know that. So we've got a program to show where the lightning hits are in our area. And then we went to those areas and we say, okay, if we see there's a lot of them hit, we'll change these out. They're not really expensive. We'll change these out anyways, because there's a good chance they got hit. Also, we found out, well, why aren't some of these lightning arresters working? They're a big anomaly. Every utility's dealing with this. You say, they're out there, you got thousands of them, and, but how do you know if we're broke? We brought in an engineering outfit and we said, we know it's the answer, it's hard to give, but can you help us why our lightning arresters are failing in some of these places? So they went out and did it, said, well, you're grounding. You can hit that, but it doesn't go to ground. It doesn't arrest the lightning. And we found out that some of the grounding, about how it's installed, and we got good training to all of our folks. We found where some of it starts to corrode and you don't see it. We got closer inspections. And so that's why you're seeing improvement here. The improvement's not just because that's rolling off. We're getting improvement. Now, that doesn't, if I'm the person off for an hour, which if you've seen the charts, it hits, I live on Pleasant Hill, I get hit quite often, but I think it's by design. But we are doing improvements and we're doing things to do that. Frequency going off and on, we still for the year, we were a little over, if you go back a couple months, about 4 months, but for the year, the average, we should make the goal. Our frequency's still doing pretty well. And that was, again, that was the time we got hit a lot. The good news is the frequency isn't the minutes off. It's not good that anybody sees a flicker in our power. Nobody wants it. Nobody wants it off for a short amount of time. So we're working on both. We've actually made a committee within this department months ago that is made just for reliability. And that's what we do. They sit down every 2 weeks, and we just had a meeting of our top guys to sit with everybody 2 weeks from now and make a plan, not only just on what I've told you, but are we going to do things, capital projects? Is it possible to get some of these lines out of backyards? And some places are not, but is it possible to improve that? So we're looking at that. We're working on that. COVID-19. Yeah, that's the highlight. And that's the angst, and that's everything for the community, the country.
And not just the trucks.
Yes, and for the truck. And then the reason, as you see, we've taken all safety precautions, little guy in the corner, but we have, well, the reason I have the truck there in COVID-19, how it affects us. Well, first to do overall for the department, we're taking all the precautions we told you months ago. We're sticking with those precautions, and they're working. We've had folks have COVID-19, and we've separated them out. And the way we have it, we haven't had a spread. We've had no one give it to somebody else here at work. We've been very fortunate in that. So we've handled that in a great way. The folks have all pitched in and done their part to stay as safe as they can here. And so it's worked out well. So then we go, okay, that's working. What if we have a hurricane? So we had Isaias, I think that's how you say it, scared us all and came up the coast, and we got ready for a hurricane. And it was our first hurricane to get ready under COVID-19. So even though it didn't hit, it was very valuable for us because now we know pandemics can happen. And now we're prepared. It could be flu season, who knows? It still hits at the end of hurricane season, a hurricane going as we speak. So that was a great learning lesson, and we're doing very well. Also, then we said, okay, mutual aid. Well, the first mutual aid, we love to be the folks that help. We're well known throughout the country for it. But we also love to be the people who takes care of KUA. So the first one, we were 1 week before the peak of storm season here. We had a couple of folks out. Again, when we get the folks that are sick, they're separated out. Even if it's a family member, they're at home until that family member's out. So we've separated them out, and we said, well, we can't really afford to take the chance in Louisiana. And ended up we weren't needed. Most of them were there and turned around. There's not a lot of municipals in there. And the biggest one there didn't get hit that hard. So they were lucky, we were lucky. The second one, we said, we're ready to go. We're fine, we're full power now. We're ready to go. We think we can do it without putting KUA at risk. Well, it ended up, that was one in Alabama. We weren't needed. Are we ready right now? Yes, the call's been made. We've got crews on standby. And again, it's a good lessons learned. these trucks aren't like they used to be going out. Now they've got face masks on them and they've got hand sanitizer. But all this stuff we have, and we have it there because we want to be sure that, and we have a protocol where they're going to stay, you know, what we expect, how do they eat separate when they come back? Are they going to be tested? We have all this protocol in place. So this is, you know, COVID-19 isn't a good thing, but it was, at least we made the best out of it to be ready for things in the future.
Absolutely.
And if I could get to,
Larry, some questions.
good, because it just says any question. Very timely.
She forgot the question.
I got too excited. Have you heard how any other of the utilities are experiencing more or less with COVID compared to KUA?
I haven't heard a widespread anywhere. In the ones we deal with, there hasn't been a widespread. Some have taken much more precautions than we have at a cost. And the way that they're laid out, they may need to do it that way. The way that we're laid out here, where we can get a substation spread out, where we're not going in a lot into, you know, we have a lot of outlying area. That helps us. We have crews that can work 2 at a time. We have enough staff and enough vehicles to keep people separate, just in pairs. So we're able to do it that way. Others doing it a little different or the same, but it's not widespread. The industry's all taking precautions, and they all talk. Brian's on a phone call every couple of weeks with the big six of the municipals. And those are the topics. I've been on calls with, those are the topics. They talk about those things. What are you doing there? How, you know, how's it affecting, you know, your people? So we've worked together on it. So that's why we're not seeing it widespread. We're all pretty much on the same page.
Any other question? Do I have a motion?
Thank you all so very much.
Very much, Larry.
Thank you, Larry.
Okay, so here the attorney.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and congratulations to you and to each of the officers and our new member of the Board of Directors. And thank you, Mayor, for everything for the past several years, all your dedication. So I got a couple items for you, Madam Chair. First, earlier, just recently, in the last month, a group of activists represented by a group called Earth Justice, petitioned the Public Service Commission to mandate that all four investor utilities in this state be prohibited from disconnecting customers for a minimum of 90 days. The IOUs fought that effort. The PSC staff took the IOU's position on that, and yesterday the PSC ruled against mandating a prohibition on disconnections. That would have affected us if the PSC had ordered all the IOUs to continue the moratorium on disconnections. It would have put a lot of pressure on us to put those back on. We all appreciate how difficult it is for our customers and families in this very stressful time, full of distress. But as the IOUs argued, you're just going to make things harder for people if you let them go months and months and months without paying their bill and let it build up. Related to that, right now, it's still uncertain as to whether Congress and the White House will make an agreement on extending supplemental relief related to the COVID-19 virus, economic relief. We don't know if they will do anything. I don't believe that whatever comes out of Congress will include a moratorium like was discussed earlier this year or was brought before the PSC. I don't think that'll be included in any legislation. I do want to applaud our own Susan Postons because the county has received CARES Act funding, and a portion of that funding is available to both residents and small businesses to help them with their electric bills. And Susan and her staff have been working with the county to try to make that happen. That's very exciting that some of our customers might get that relief. And with that, that's all I have, unless there's any questions.
Anybody questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. You're the general manager.
All right. There's only one reminder, and that's next month's board meeting. I do want to take a moment though to thank the mayor for his service to our community and KUA. And in appreciation, we have a proclamation, if you'll bear with me, that I'd like to read into the record. Whereas Jose Alvarez was sworn in as mayor of the city of Kissimmee on November 22nd, 2016, and since that date has served this electric utility as an ex officio member of the Kissimmee Utility Authority Board of Directors. And whereas Jose Alvarez has served the Kissimmee Utility Authority tirelessly and voluntarily without compensation, and whereas Jose Alvarez has served as a trusted advisor to the Kissimmee Utility Authority's Board of Directors, and whereas Jose Alvarez's wisdom and concern for the customers of the Kissimmee Utility Authority has played an integral role in the utility's growth and success, and whereas the contributions of Jose Alvarez as a member of the Board of Directors has provided for current and future energy needs of the Kissimmee Utility Authority's customers, including the Florida Municipal Solar Project, a large-scale energy project that will enable Kissimmee Utility Authority to provide renewable energy to its customers. And whereas the city of Kissimmee, under the leadership of Jose Alvarez, who is community-minded, approved a partnership with Kissimmee Utility Authority to power 100% of the city's facilities with solar energy through a new community solar program, making Kissimmee the first city in Florida to commit to powering 100% of its properties with solar. And whereas Jose Alvarez served the municipal power industry's needs for many years through his active participation and vast experience in dealing with legislators in the American Public Power Association's legislative rallies and the Florida Municipal Electric Association's legislative rallies to bring the needs of our customers and the needs of fellow municipal utility customers to the political forefront. And whereas Jose Alvarez assisted the American Public Power Association in promoting federal legislation that is important to public power utilities like the Kissimmee Utility Authority, while opposing harmful legislation through his active participation on the American Public Power Association's Policy Makers Council as a at-large member. Now, therefore, be it proclaimed that the Kissimmee Utility Authority Board of Directors and staff wish to express their true and sincere gratitude, respect, and appreciation for the years of service Mayor Alvarez has given to the Kissimmee Utility Authority. Thank you.
Smile.
Speech, 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 speech.
You don't want a politician to give a speech. Listen, it's been an honor to serve KUA. The pay raisers of KUA are my constituents. They are our constituents. So it is our job to do that. I've been lucky enough that I've been involved a lot in between Tallahassee and DC, and I've been able to bring that experience forward. And anything that I've been able to do has been an honor for me to be able to move it forward. And even though I will be stepping down November 17th, I will not be leaving Kissimmee. I will still be here in anything that is needed. And because those relationships that I have in the legislature circle, I still have them, and I'll be able to use them anytime that KUA needs them. So thank you so much. It's been an honor to serve with all of you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And just one final thing, I want to introduce our newest member of our executive team to the board, Director of Corporate Communications, Tiffany Henderson.
Welcome. Take your mask off so we can see what she looks like.
Welcome, Tiffany.
And with that, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Okay, any questions, directors? Start with you, Ginny.
No, just glad to be back.
Yes, very nice to see you here.
Denise is doing great and I feel great, so.
Very good, very
thank
good.
you
Very
all
nice to
for all
see
your
you.
thoughts.
Thank you. Manny?
Well, just thank you, KUA staff, thanking our service people for the operation downstairs, for the trust of that. So I see that you guys take it serious of what's going on in the community. So thank you and for another great job.
Thank you. Ray?
Yes, I'd just like to extend thanks to all of the KUA employees for seeing KUA through 7 months of the pandemic, and I'm sure there's a bit more to come, but thanks for your service.
Thank you. New member Raymond.
Thank you. Just thank you to everyone here. Thank you for getting me started and transitioning into this position. I thank everyone for their trust in me, and I'm motivated to be here. Thank you.
And from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate the new nominations. I thank everybody, and I know we're a team, and we're looking forward to working together.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, everybody. This meeting is now adjourned.
Right, Ed?